All right, so everybody who watched the live had asked that I go ahead and make a video regarding the affidavit. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and we're just going to kind of go through and read it together. Okay, so this is the beginning. The affiant here is going to be the detective. This first page just identifies the victims, and I don't want to make this a really long video, so I'm just going to cut right to the chase. The detective has probable cause for sudden belief about the following facts. On December 23rd, Leon Valley police received a call for a missing person. The family of the missing person stated she was supposed to be induced for her pregnancy and didn't show up for the appointment. The family advised they had not been able to get a hold of the female and stated that she was not answering her phone. A check of the hospitals was conducted by the family. It was found that the female was not at any of the hospitals. It was found that the female lived with her boyfriend. However, the family of the boyfriend advised that they weren't able to get in touch with him as well. The female was entered as a missing person. Further investigation found that the female and her boyfriend were not responding to any phone calls. Their whereabouts were unknown. The media had broadcasted the vehicle and the case with a 2013 Kia Optima. On December 26th, a resident of 5903 Danny K Drive messaged the family of the female advising them they believed that the car was there. They then contacted Leon Valley, who drove to the location. Upon arrival, Leon Valley noticed the vehicle had a deceased pregnant female in the front seat and a deceased male in the back seat, so they contacted San Antonio police, and the detective showed up. Upon arrival, the detective observed the vehicle, the 2013 Kia Optima with the plate on it. They checked the VIN number and everything matched. Front right passenger side of the vehicle, there was a deceased pregnant female. And he knew the female from a previous case, which was Nathan, her brother's case. Or Ethan, I'm sorry. Was her brother Ethan's case. Then they noticed in the back seat of the vehicle a deceased male in the back seat. The deceased male resembled the boyfriend of the female, and he had an apparent shot wound to his head. It appeared that the male had been dragged into the vehicle. There was no weapon near the male. Search warrant was requested so that way they can go into the vehicle. While waiting for the search warrant, they had spoken to the family. They said that the boyfriend had sold narcotics, would use his phone through cell communication as well as social media to sell it. It was also advised that he would post money and narcotics on Instagram. It was stated that people wanted to rob the boyfriend, and it was stated that the boyfriend had been shot at before. The family provided the detective with the phone number for the female. The family of the male provided the detective with his phone number as well as his Instagram. When the search warrant did finally come, they searched the vehicle, and they found spent shell casings in the vehicle. However, there was no weapon. There was apparent blood transfer on the outside of the vehicle that was consistent with the boyfriend. That was not consistent with the boyfriend causing harm to the female. Both the female and the male had wounds to the head. The male also had apparent drag marks on his back. It was believed that the female and the male, that their lives were ended. At the different location, the vehicle was then driven to the current location where it was recovered. During further investigation, it was found on surveillance. The detective found surveillance video. The surveillance video saw that on December 21st at 11:59 p.m., the Silverado was driving with its lights off and had pulled into the location, the middle of a back parking lot. And then the victim's vehicle could be seen approaching the Chevy Silverado. The victim's vehicle parked next to the Silverado. A heavy-set male, who we know to be Ramon, exited the Silverado and went to the driver's side door of Matthew's vehicle. That door was open. The heavyset, we'll just call him Ramon. Ramon approached the vehicle. The driver's side vehicle appeared to speak to the driver, which is Christopher. Then Ramon got a towel from his vehicle, appears to wipe down the outside of the victim's vehicle door where he had touched it. The driver, which was Christopher, exited the vehicle for a brief moment and then went back in and sat back in the driver's seat. The driver didn't match the description of the female victim or the male victim. Then the Hispanic male got back into his vehicle. The victim's vehicle, so Matthew's vehicle, drove behind the building where it was found on December 26th, and the Silverado, which is Ramon, followed that vehicle. Then 3 minutes later, Ramon is seen leaving the building from where the victim's vehicle was found. And of course, the victim's vehicle did not leave that location. It is believed the victims were already deceased in the vehicle at the time that the video was observed. Then the cell phone records were sent to Detective Knox. He's at the Technical Investigations Unit. On the 3rd, the detectives received the downloaded information on the cell phone, and it was found that they had recently searched up Charlie Chan Drive. Charlie Chan Drive was just a couple of blocks away, and they had noticed that at 2350, the victim's vehicle had pinged in that location. So at 1150 is when it pinged, and then it didn't start moving again until 1154. And then the vehicle drove to Danny K Drive, where the victims in the vehicle were discovered on the 26th. So they did some computer research, was able to locate a vehicle that looked identical to the suspect vehicle that was seen on camera. The detectives went to the vehicle location. They found the vehicle at that location. When they went to the residence, a person identified as Ramon Preciado reportedly told SAPD that he knew exactly why they were there and they needed to talk to his son. Both of them were brought down to speak with the detectives. And at that point, they went ahead and they also had a search warrant. So they searched the place while they were talking to them. Detectives spoke with Ramon after he was read his rights. He admitted to driving his truck to Danny K, where he met Christopher. Ramon identified himself on the cameras as the person who was seen exiting the vehicle. This is the same vehicle in which Matthew and Savanah were found deceased. I'm sorry, he wasn't exiting the vehicle. He was meeting Christopher, who was in the vehicle where Matthew and Savanah were found. He admitted to helping Christopher at Danny K Drive. He knowingly treated the bodies of Matthew, Savanah, and baby Fabian in an offensive manner by leaving them abandoned in the vehicle. Detective then spoke with Christopher. He was read his Miranda rights. His version of the story is inconsistent with evidence collected at the scene. He claimed that Matthew had pointed a weapon at him. He was able to manipulate the weapon, resulting in Savanah, the weapon going off, and that's how Savanah ended up being deceased. Chris then stated that, again, he had the weapon pointed at him a second time, and he manipulated the weapon again, resulting in the male victim being shot. Christopher's statements are inconsistent with the wounds suffered by Matthew and Savanah and the evidence located at the crime scene. Christopher intentionally discharged the firearm at Savanah and Matthew with the intention of causing them to pass away. The actions of Christopher resulted in the passing of Matthew, Savanah, and baby Fabian. All right, guys, I will go ahead and put this up on in the drive, like I said, so that way you guys can go ahead and read it. And yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it, guys.